Hi, this is Patricia Sunshine,
This is Okolo.
and today we have not actually discussed what we're going to talk to you about, but twin flames might be on the topic of discussion. Is that what we're going to talk about today?
Um, yeah, I think we were going to talk about finding our twin flame and then what work we needed to do to be really what we talked about once before was attracting your twin flame.
Like lining ourselves up.
Yeah, what work we did
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be open to our twin flame.
Right. So during the time when right before I met Okolo, it was a really rough time in my life, and um, I would say that I had given up at one point, not on love, but just on a bunch of things. And so I have 6 children. I think most of you probably know that already. But one of my daughters said to me, I think I was encouraging her to participate in some school activity. And I was encouraging her, and I was saying something that may have alluded to I've already had that opportunity in life. So I'd taken advantage of it, and I felt like I had gone as far as I would go when it comes to that. And so I was sort of passing the torch on to her, like, okay, you go ahead with it now. I think you're be really great at it. And I guess in the words that I was speaking and uh, the message that was being conveyed to her was that like it was no more hope for me, sort of. It was already too late. And being a mother of children, that is not what I want to. I didn't want to convey that message to my daughter, but reading in between the lines, she sort of picked it up. And so she said, "Well, Mom, it isn't too late for you. You still got it." And after she said that, I mean, geez, the things that children can say to inspire us. So that caused me, like when I walked away, I thought about what she said, and I was like, yeah, why am I acting like this is the end of the road, you know? And so I started on a journey and a path of healing and taking care of myself. And, things were really difficult. And I already came from a difficult place. And we were there. We were starting over. It was like the first of 5 years that we actually lived where we were. And so I think I was just resting and trying to recuperate, and I felt like it was a resting place, but I really wanted it to be a stopping place, sort of like I'm tired. And so I don't think I did much to kind of pick myself up. I was just letting life go by. But I'll talk about what steps I took after that. But what was your journey like, or what was the beginning of yours?
So I would say mine, I had pretty much given up on love, you might say. Just before I met Trisha, I'm not sure if I should say I'm ashamed to say or whatever it is, but I was in my, shall we call it, tender phase. And that's another whole topic of conversation. But the point is that I think I had gotten to a point where I wasn't searching anymore. Like I wasn't seeking anymore. I wasn't, getting into a relationship and thinking, oh wow, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, whatever it is, it isn't what.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Keep talking.
It wasn't what I anticipated it to be. So, you want to close it all the
You
way?
can leave it if they, I just want to close it for you. Yeah.
So, for me, it was more like clearing the space to be open to receive is I think how I would describe it. What, babe?
You can finish talking.
I was done for now. What made you cry?
Yeah.
Get you a tissue.
I remember just feeling like I was giving up. Like things were just going so, I don't know, I think I had ran from everything that was bad in my life pretty much. And the things that hurt me, you know. And so I think I was just escaping first, just getting away from everything that was hurting me, you know. So I had gotten to a place where I wasn't in the path of danger or in the line of fire anymore. And so, you know, I was getting the rest I needed, but at some point I just rested for so long where I stopped striving for anything else, you know. And so, yeah, I just cleared my space in my mind and my home of everything that reminded me of negative things or things that happened to me in my past that were really hurtful and that I felt, you know, were damaging. And so, yeah, I was like, I had a clean palette, I would say. And, but clearing your palette, it doesn't mean that it gets rid of like the damage. You still have to go through a stage of repairing, you know, where you're rebuilding. So you can get away from the line of fire, but it doesn't mean you're treating the wound, you know. And so that's what I had done. And I was like not really tending to myself. I was just so glad I didn't feel like I was being beat upon anymore, you know. And it isn't really in a physical sense, but psychologically, emotionally, trauma is trauma, you know. And so that's what I was experiencing, whether it was my environment or things that I allowed to happen to me or the way I perceived things, you know. It didn't matter because it is whatever it is, you know. If you feel like you're being harmed, then, you know, just get out of harm's way, you know. And so, but when my daughter said that, it allowed me to think about getting back out there, you know. And so I was like, yeah, whatever made me think it was over, you know. So yeah.
How old were you, in your 30s?
I was like
late 30s. It's over and I'm 39. Like what's
I'm
really
serious.
going on?
Yeah. So I kind of that's when I thought about dating again, and I was like, actually, that's when I thought about looking nice again, you know, because I walked around with the scarf on my head, not night clothes on, but mostly kick around the house clothes like sweatpants, a t-shirt, or whatever. It's like I wasn't going anywhere. I was homeschooling. My children were small. I think the oldest, which is the one I'm referring to now, she was probably 9. She was 8 or 9, you know. And so, I mean, these children have so much wisdom. And, you know, what 8-year-old is thinking about telling his or her parents, it isn't over for you. You still got it. I'm like, what? Thank you. I'm glad the universe and God and so that's when I thought about, okay, so I just got dressed and I tried to start looking nice again, started fixing my hair or whatever, but I still wasn't ready to date. I was ready to look nice, you know? And but then I just kind of like, so if I did accept a date, I had new standards. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm not just dating to be dating. I'm actually scanning for things that mean something to me, you know. So I wasn't really in a desperate place. You know, I was like, well, and so this is like 7 years ago, you know. And so I wasn't really in a desperate place, and I was ready to take care of myself. And so for the first time in a long time, I was just like, okay, what do I want? What can I do to make my own self happy? And I had these 6 small children. I was always catering to them, like since, and I was about 38. I'm 46 right now. And so my whole life was built around them, which might have even been a little unfair.
You're 45.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 45.
You're making yourself older than you are.
Yeah, you know, at some point I just stopped keeping track. I'm like, it doesn't even matter. I'm serious. I'm like, you know, I think you're as young as you feel, you know, and so if you take care of yourself and blah, 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 you know, you still kind of, sometimes you might not age as often, or because you take care of yourself, the age might not really show. But yeah, so I started dating with like purpose, which Noah, my daughter, says as well. Like dating with purpose. That girl is smart. Like, don't be just desperate jumping out there, just doing something. Like, you actually hoping these people have something that you have in common, you know, or whatever they have to offer is what you're in the market for. It's like, I'm not in the market for everything, just a few certain qualities, you know. That definitely isn't the end, but
wow, it's amazing to think that I fit any of that bill.
You have no idea. Well, what concerned me the most was having someone who is willing to listen. Like, and well, first of all, you can't be something that you're not. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, before I could even meet Okolo, I had to stop accepting less than what I wanted. So, if I'm looking for a square peg, no round peg is gonna fit it regardless. Like, and not even saying I was searching, I was just like meeting people, having lunch, and like blah blah blah, whatever. I already knew. No, I'm not even calling him back, you know, because it just didn't meet. He didn't meet certain standards in my life, and not that they were even materialistic. It's just we didn't want the same thing. Like, if you don't want the same thing in life, why even pursue the conversation? Like, why even go further? You know, because it doesn't matter if he's willing to change later. It's like, what are you gonna have to go through until he does change? So it's like, stop, don't accept a pear if you're shopping for a peach, you know? That's just what I'm saying. Or if that's what you like, if you like peaches, you know? And so that's what it was. So I had to turn down a whole bunch of people. Like, as soon as I see a quality and a trait that I'm not interested in, it didn't matter what kind of package they came in, what they had to offer, if they like my mama, if she likes them, none of that mattered. I'm like, nope. See, because what I learned while I was in the restaurant business, if something isn't right or up to standard when it comes through the door, there's nothing you can do to make it right while it's there. Like when you have
like the spoiled lettuce.
Yeah. You can't make it right once when you receive. That's why receiving is important. Don't receive bad goods. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Yeah, you can't receive bad goods. So if it isn't what you want coming through the door, then you need to just shut the door and be like, I'll pass. Like, don't feel bad about it, because this is your life, and if you don't like them for who they are and how they are, then you need to just let them go and be whoever they want to be, you know, without you interfering. Forget about what they have to offer, how you're going to benefit. Like, if that's all it is in exchange or something, don't get it confused with anything else. you know? So I had to turn down a whole lot of what I don't want. And when I met Okolo, oh my goodness, we just had this, like the first conversation we had was via like texting, chatting or something like that. But we had so much in common already. And he was speaking on my level, and all his goals and the things he was focused on was right up the same alley of what I was focused on. You know, I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom of 6 children, but I had a career, I had a professional background, you know, and so we were talking on the same terms, and I was like, he was awakening things in me, you know, that I thought no one else was interested in. So not only was he was a smart business person, he's also fit, he's into finance, like I had done the insurance industry or business. I had managed a small finance company, and actually I saw Okolo's ad looking for, or inviting people who were looking for a business opportunity or something like that. So, I mean, I thought he was nice looking. I was more interested in how can I make some money, because I was ready to become active again. You know, I was homeschooling and everything. And so I put what I love to do and what I am to the side to take care of my children. But at some point, you know, you still you have to make some money, and hopefully it'll be doing something that you like. And so I took the bait. Yeah, even when I found out what it was he was doing, I wasn't really interested in that particular business. But it didn't turn me off. I was like, oh, he's got more to talk about than just the business. And so the conversation never ended.
Yeah, one thing I would say is there needs to be a degree of self-realization, some self-love, some recognizing that things need to change, that you need to change.
Right.
Because it's when you start to change, you know, people used to always say, and I used to always have in my mind, you know, take one step towards God, God will take 2 steps towards you. And sorry, getting a phone call, we're using our iPhone and forgot to put it on airplane mode, or just haven't needed to put it on airplane mode. But point is, self-realization, self-love, you know, as the saying goes, know thyself.
Right.
When you start to really dig into knowing and loving yourself, and that's what you live and that's what you present to the world, it's just,
it's attractive.
You know, it's attractive, literally attractive. So that as you know, let's just say that when it gets to my nose,
right,
you know, that's when, you know, I know myself, let's just say. Or at least I've started that journey. So, you know, and then Patricia's over here working on herself, and then there's a point in which, you know, we didn't quite, and then it's like, whoops, and then it's like this, and then now we're moving in that path together. Now, the growth isn't over.
You can believe that.
Woo! The growth isn't over. But what we find is because we basically because we are literally the same soul. We've got the same issues.
Yeah.
We've got the same problems.
So we fast forwarded. You had to catch that. He fast forwarded just in same soul.
Oh.
Yeah, but we're gonna get there. But he fast forwarded. So now you know that we are.
Right.
We're the same. Well, you have to do that work to even be on the same vibration and the same, like, you might not even be able to see me because I'm like moving like this. You might be moving like that. And until we move at the same vibration, then we can see one another. Like, you ever heard that term, you don't see me though? Like, if you're not vibrating on the same vibration or whatever, you can't even see me. It's like I'm hidden from you.
You know what? That's a great way to put it, because what's basically happened in our lives is an event happened over here for me,
Mm-hmm.
an event happened over here for Patricia. Now, it might have happened at the same time. It might have happened a few years after. She might have had it happen a few years before. I might have been older. She might have been younger. I mean,
Yeah.
well, she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So think we were sort of vibing like this, and you know, and vibing like this a little bit. But I think that's a great analogy. When we got to the point where we were able to vibe well enough like this, it just there's a what is it called in quantum physics? I'm gonna post it in the comments below. But we started vibing like this, and it just instantly became poof.
Yeah.
We were hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
Hundreds of miles away. Like no.
I was in South Carolina.
Right. You know, you can certainly say that, you know, the internet brought us together, but there was we could have very easily have never ever met each other.
Right. I don't even know whose page. I don't even know who our mutual friend is on your page, unless you had an advertisement post or something.
I don't think
I
it
don't
was
even
an
know
ad.
how I met you. I know I met you on Facebook, but I'm like, I don't even know how I came across your post, is what I'm saying. And but another thing I want to mention is, when you are becoming your true authentic self, you're not going to attract someone who isn't looking for that. So you don't have to be fake. You have to get as close to your authentic self, practicing the principles you believe in, and being true to your own feelings. Like, sometimes your parents' way of living, or the way you just grew up, it might have had you some kind of way. You know, that's no insult to anybody or the way they grew up, but you have to become who you are. Like, you are still your own person. You're an individual who are living on the face of this earth with a purpose. And that's why I believe you have to follow your heart, and it will take you where you need to be, you know? And you're not going to meet anybody where you are, you're not going to meet anybody who isn't interested in somebody like you.
Right.
Because you're going to be, if I'm an artist and somebody is a coal miner, like, how are we ever going to meet? Like, we might run and bump into one another, but if we speak, we might not have anything in common, you know. But it could be an artist and a coal miner who has everything in common, but you're both doing what you love, and somehow you meet at the apex of, like, oh wow, I'm practicing what I preach, I'm accepting my flaws, I'm loving myself for how I am, I know I have whatever I need to come up to. But when you embrace those things, you're not hiding from yourself anymore, and you can radiate and attract what it is that's going to be attracted to you.
The thing, start anywhere.
Right.
Start where you are. If you want to start with eating a little bit healthier, start there.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to start with exercising a little bit, start there. Don't clutter your mind with, I gotta exercise and eat better and save my money and make more money and do this and do that, and I gotta meet the right person, and no, just take step one.
Yeah.
Take step one, whatever it is. Your health, if your health has any kind of issues, that's where I would absolutely suggest starting.
Right.
Because as soon as you start improving your health, your emotions are going to be better, your psyche's going to be better, everything is going to be better, and give you the ability with a healthy life to attract or to get whatever else it is you need.
Because your twin flame may be working on herself right now. You know, she might be having some health issues herself. Like, what if you two meet at the doctor's office? They're for the same thing or something similar. You know, but it starts with the mindset. I need to do better than this. I need to take care of myself. I need to focus on things that are important, like not superficial things, but actually, okay, one exercise I do still, okay, not that you want to be superficial, but you have to strip and see and take a step back, almost like 3 feet away from the mirror, and look at yourself and see how you would view yourself if you were looking at someone else. Like, you have to do that, because sometimes we stand so closely to the mirror, we stand so closely to our own lives. It's hard to see when you're like this. Even it's hard to see your hand, like the details of your hand, when you're just too close. So you got to take some steps back and say, wait a minute, what's really going on with me, with myself? You know, like, okay, something isn't right. I need to work on this. I need to work on that. And when you need to get to a place where you take responsibility for where you are, how you look, how you feel about where you are in your life, like your
Everywhere.
career.
Your career, your relationships. This ties into, many of you probably have heard of the law of attraction. Maybe you've read or watched the movie The Secret. That's real. And the first thing in gaining your power back is recognizing that every aspect of your life that's bad is your own personal fault.
Right.
Your responsibility. Nobody else's blame can be, you can't blame anyone else. And even if they are the ones that did something, quote unquote, to you, you have to recognize that you attracted that into your life. Now, that could mean that you were vibrating on a certain level of fear, anxiety, worry, and then you attracted something negative. These are painful things to learn, but until you accept that, you won't have the power to say, you know what? I can change my vibration. I can change how I feel, and now I can do it. Now I can attract what it is I really want.
Yeah, because you can't blame people for your condition, because remember, what is the saying about 90% is what actually happens, and 10%, 10% is what happened. 90% is how we perceive it and what we are actually doing in reaction or response to it. So, you might have had a messed up childhood, but what if a lot of that is your perception? Or what if you were doing terrible things? Or what if you just, your mom or your dad just took some crazy steps in some direction and you were there, but none of that is your fault, but how you take care of yourself after abuse, after neglect. You're not responsible for every single thing bad that happens to you, but you can be responsible for how you respond and whether or not you ever get over it.
Well, see, but I would still argue, even those negative experiences that you're supposed to react to a certain way, it's about, those might be lessons for you.
That's what I was thinking too.
That you have created
You
have created for yourself, or God has created for you, or the universe has put in your path
to make you strong,
stronger, to give you more, just
I agree.
I'm not going to talk about anything negative, but just talk about sort of my experiences. Ever since I was a child, I had ability to talk to people, and they would and relate to them and have them open up to me very quickly and easily. That was an ability I had, and then I transferred that into sales. Okay, and then I became at one point a personal trainer. And then and at another point I turned it into management, being able to work with people and communicate with people and be empathetic to people, and all of these different things then merged together into who and what I am today. Right. Now, they might not appear to be related, but when you start to see all the stuff that we both are doing, it's obvious that all of those experiences were there for a reason. And it's also kind of funny or ironic or whatever the word is, synchronicity, that we have basically all of those same things. We're both into fitness. We both are into nutrition, both into a holistic and natural lifestyle and healing.
Both of us work finance.
Both of us have worked finance. We actually have a huge list of similarities, which we will do in another video. But it's, We'll get
What were
into
you
that
about to
topic
say?
in another.
What were you-
Oh, what I was about to say was, it's even to the point now where we will sometimes, you know how they say, oh wow, that couple is so cute, they finish each other's sentences? We speak the same sentences at the same time.
Right.
Not
Even worse than that, we have the same expressions, emotional expressions, like
same
almost
reactions.
almost
yeah.
like yawning. Not only yawning at the same time, but like sighing at the same time. We're like
Deep
what?
breaths at the same
Or-
time.
Yeah, and like we're in the same energy too. Like the same thing that's going on with him. Like if he had like this morning, we both of us were dressed, right? And then both of us, or we were getting dressed. He noticed something was wrong with one item. I noticed something was wrong with one item. It's almost like we're like somebody created a video game and we're the same character. They just threw a different meat suit on him. It's like this is really the same character right here. They just don't know it. And so this video game is going in. When I jump, he jumps. When he crawls, I crawl. It's like, what the heck is going on here? This is weird.
And it happens whether or not we're physically together or not. So
Yeah.
we might get home and realize, oh yeah, by the way, I picked up such and such today. So did I. And it's not like we
don't even talk
right.
to
It's,
communicate.
or it's not even like something it is that's obvious we need. Not like trash bags. Oh, we're out of trash bags. I picked some up. She
Like
knows.
Takis
It could be
Weird,
anything. It's just we're on the same, and it doesn't even have to be something that we've bought or regularly buy. Like we may have even thought about it for months
or talked
about it for months. But I buy it, she buys it, we talk about it. It's
weird to think, what if you have a female doppelganger somewhere? It's like she's doing and experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. Even if the agitator or whatever it is that's agitating her or poking her is a different type of finger. Like maybe you're being agitated right here by someone's finger, when at the same time she's being agitated over there by a pogo stick. Both of you are feeling the same pain at the same time. It doesn't matter what causes the pain, you're both feeling it. Both of you are excited and joyful at the same time. Imagine if that's going on somewhere with some female that you've never met. You're gonna want to meet her. Like, it's like, wait. And it doesn't mean, oh, finally someone exactly like me. I'm never gonna have any conflict ever again. We'll never have any arguments or whatever. It's just like, what in the world? I got somebody to go through life with. Like, oh snap, I'm not the only one crazy out here. Like, I'm not the only one who is good at persuading people. He is too. But we might do it in a different manner. You know what I'm saying? It's like his gift the gap might be speaking, mine is in writing, you know? And that's what I actually do. I'm very persuasive in my writing. I love it. And it's like, okay, so we have that skill, communication. So, you know, that's just how that is or how it goes.
So, we just wanted to talk about that briefly. This is Okolo
This is Patricia Sunshine
from Elite Couples.
for Life.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you have a twin flame experience, please leave it in the comments below.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.